Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a special welcome to our viewers on the internet. We're here at Jyske Bank Boxen, where in 3 days Mikkel Kessler will try to become world champion yet another time. He will take on the Dane killer Brian Magee, the WBA super middleweight world champion, and both men are represented here on the podium. We have Brian Magee, his manager Bernardo Checker, the camp manager John Rooney, and the manager Pat Magee. Whereas on my right, we have the Team Sauerland general manager Chris Meyer, promoter Kalle Sauerland, the Viking warrior Mikkel Kessler, his coach Jimmy Montoya, and Georg Sørensen, the CEO of MCH. Like I said, 3 days to go until the big fight, and it truly is a special meeting. Kalle, you've said before that the stakes have never been higher. Now, Mikkel has been involved in some really, really big fights, but what makes you think this fight is special? Can you put it on?
Technology. Good morning, everyone. First of all, thanks for the great turnout today. Thanks for the support in the build-up so far. It's been absolutely astonishing. I think I counted 6 pages in the papers here yesterday. We've come to expect that around Kessler events. They're the biggest there are in boxing, in world boxing. I've said before, Mikkel is one of the guys, a handful of guys who can fill stadiums around the world. And that is something which, of course, is a great thing for a promoter to be involved in. It's something that makes you very proud and very happy to be in a sport like boxing. I think Saturday is, I've said it before, and I've had a few digs from the media saying, oh, well, Kalle's up there selling his fight. But I mean it. Saturday, there's never been so much at stake for Mikkel, and I don't want to sit here and talk about the future. I know Mikkel's focused on Saturday, but of course, the fact that, I've said 4-time world champion, and actually someone pointed out, no, Mikkel will be 5-time world champion should he win on Saturday. So the stakes are there alone in the fact that it would be his 5th world title that he would win on Saturday, something which speaks for itself. The fact that there's a lot of storylines around the fight, and will the winner of the fight go on to a mega fight against Froch or an Andre Ward? Those are all storylines we can speculate on, but let's concentrate on Saturday. I think both guys have gone through very heavy training camps. I can at least speak for our side. Mikkel is in absolutely prime condition. He will be mean as he always is when that bell goes on Saturday, and I think it's going to be a great event. Where we're set up here for around 11,000 spectators. It will be a full house, and it's going to be a real event, and I think a lot of people will be very interested to see what's happening, and it's great to be involved in, and we look forward to it.
The next question to Pat Magee. Like Kalle said, a lot of coverage in the press, and there were some statements today that you said Mikkel Kessler might be over the hill and he's too old. What makes you think that? And what does this mean going into this fight for Brian?
Well, I haven't read the press today because I don't read Danish, but I believe that Brian. I mean. Let me talk about Brian Magee rather than Mikkel Kessler, because Mikkel Kessler's people will decide for him what he has to do. But we know what Brian has to do on the night. Brian has to put in a performance like he never put in before. This is the pinnacle for Brian. This is going to be the pinnacle of his career. Now, when we were here last for the first press conference, Brian came here as the interim champion. Since then, of course, he's had the boost of becoming the regular champion. Now, it's something that Brian prizes. It's something that he's not going to give up. And to use the old saying, possession is 9/10 of the law. Brian is in possession of the title. Mikkel Kessler is having to fight Brian for the title, and Brian is not going to give that up. Now, people ask us, why are we coming to Denmark? Well, there are obvious answers to that. We've been here twice before. I've said it before. Brian's happy to be here. He likes Denmark. He likes winning in Denmark, and he wants to win again in Denmark. So, but home advantage is something in a fighter's mind. the home for Brian is the ring. It doesn't matter on Saturday night where the ring is, whether there are 16,000 screaming fans against him. Once the bell goes, he knows the ring. He's been using the ring since he was 12 years old, which is 25 years ago. He knows every inch of it, and that's his home. And that will be his home on Saturday night. And I think that Denmark, being a great boxing country, I think they're going to see something very special on Saturday night. Mikkel Kessler is a great fighter. Brian Magee wants to take on that mantle. He wants to be recognized as a great fighter. As Calla says, we're not looking, as he says about Mikkel, he's not looking beyond this fight. We're not looking beyond it either. But we all know what the rewards and the riches are for whoever wins on Saturday night. And Brian Magee is convinced that he will win. He's been prepared well. We have no complaints. We will have no excuses. He's here to win.
Thank you, Pat. Next question for Mikkel. Brian Magee obviously is very famous here in Denmark for having knocked out Mats Larsen and Rudi Markussen. Have you spoken to both of them? Did they give you some advice, or what did they say?
Yeah, I have talked a little bit to Mads and Rudi, but not so much because there's not so much to say. I know Rudi hasn't been on his 100% ready. I know Mads had a big injury, but that's no excuse. Brian Magee is a good fighter. I have seen him on his tapes against Rudi and Mads and a lot of others, and we made a good plan for that. So I'm ready to fight Magee more than ever. I have been in the best shape ever. We had a lot of readings of all my fights before in the time, and I have some what do you call it? Some rating, some pulse watches that says a lot, and I feel good. And of course, fighting in Herning, it's perfect, and it's maybe a little cold, but it's nice to be back.
You've clinched 2 spectacular victories here over Gusmer Perdomo and, of course, over Carl Froch. What's it like in there, in the ring in Herning, with all the crazy screaming fans?
It's very nice, of course. Get a good treatment over here from Geo and from his people, so I can't complain. And of course, I have had some good fights here, so I have some good memories from Herning. And I'm ready to fight Magee. And I hope he is too.
Well, let's hear from the champion. Brian, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready as ever be. As Pat says, this is the highlight of my career, so I've given everything. 12 hard weeks of training. I've really put the hard work in, cut no corners, so I'm as ready as I'll ever be. It's good to be back here again, and it'll be a great fight. All Mikkel's fights have been fabulous. He's a great record here as well, so hopefully this Saturday it's no different. It will be a great matchup between the two of us, and 2 good fighters. Hopefully it's a great fight.
You've said that you're the most hated man in Denmark right now. What does it feel like?
It's just for a bit of fun, but Mikkel's probably the most popular man in Denmark at the minute as well, so that's probably half the reason. But it's fine. It's all fun. It's all part of the game. But I know after the fight we'll go in, we'll put on a good boxing match, and that's all that matters.
Let's hear from Jimmy Montoya, Mikkel's coach, about the preparation. Jimmy, you prepared Mikkel very well in his last couple of fights. A huge win over Carl Froch, KO over Mehdi Bouadla, and then a spectacular knockout over Alan Green. So what can we expect from Mikkel on Saturday night?
Well, first of all, let me just get the record straight. Mikkel is not over the hill. He's on top of the hill. That's where the mistake was made. Mikkel is ready for whatever comes, whoever comes. He's not the fighter everybody said, well, Mikkel's finished, the guy's over the hill. And very sorry, you're going to see a very strong Mikkel better than ever. A lot of people don't understand this man. He's a born athlete. He's a natural. It doesn't take me a lot to work with him. He's got the ability to perform in any major and any adjustment he has to make to win. So As far as Magee, he's a good fighter, and I appreciate his style. I appreciate him, but at the end of the fight, I think we're going to have a beautiful belt with us. And I hope that the people in Denmark understand that Mikkel's got a couple of scores to settle, and he'll settle them that night because of Rudy and McLaughlin. So, Mr. Magee, I'm sorry, but the belt is ours.
I'd add the last UK fighter to make the mistake of thinking that Mikkel Kessler was over the hill was a certain Carl Froch.
Well, let's hear from Brian Magee's coach, Bernardo Checker. Do you think Mikkel is too old over the hill, as has been speculated by your camp before, or how do you prepare Brian going into this fight?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here for the third time. We have been here twice before, and we did the job twice, so I'm looking forward to do the job for the third time. And I think Brian is in very, very good shape. He's ready to go, and well, I don't think Mikkel is over the hill, but that's okay, because when Brian beat him, then you have no excuse. You know what I mean? So we're looking forward to it.
So Brian Magee looking to clinch the third victory, the Danish hat-trick, and it's also the hat-trick of Mikkel's fights here in Herning. Georg, the third time here. I guess the Jyske Bank Boxing Arena is ready for Saturday.
For sure, Johannes, it will be. And first of all, welcome to the members of the press. Welcome to the gentlemen in the panel. Welcome to Pat and Brian and your team. Happy to see you again here. Hope you'll enjoy your stay until you enter the ring. From there, you'll be on your own, of course. But until that, we'll try to make it comfortable for you and do our best. To Kalle and Mikkel and your team, the same to you. We are happy to see you again here. You were here in 2009, 2010, with good memories, and we hope again you'll have it here. So we'll do our best, my team and I, to make you feel comfortable. First of all, I'll tell you a little story. Back in the 90s, I was in Rome, watching a very, very enormous and famous city, one of the most famous in the world. I went to the Colosseum to see what happened there. Nothing happened there. 2,000 years ago, everything happened there. And it was my inspiration to build this arena, Jyske Bank Boxen, here in Herning, here in Denmark. Now, not at the end of the day, but it will be the first time, but not the last time, we will have a big top boxing match. We have been waiting for more than 2 years. 20th of October 2010, Lady Gaga entered the room, entered the arena, and as she said, now it's not a virgin anymore. On Saturday, it won't anymore be a virgin for boxing, for top events with a boxing in Centrum. We have been waiting. I think you all, members of the press, can see what I'm feeling now. Saturday night, a big event between our Mikkel Kessler and Brian Magee. We are ready.
Certainly a very big event, and I understand, Kalle, that it was not very easy to put this big fight together. Kalle, if you maybe want to shed some light into the difficult process of getting the fight staged here.
You know, Pat's a tough negotiator. You know, took a lot of rounds. Took more rounds than there will be on Saturday. You know, I think that the mood coming over from their camp, I'm quite enjoying it, because they seem to be in a very comfortable place right now. You know, they're here. You know, it's nice Denmark. You know, nice snow outside. It's a bit cold, but Saturday it's going to get hot in here. And you know, I know the atmosphere here is. You know, I've watched a lot of boxing. I grew up in England, and of course, atmospheres in the UK are great. You know, I mean, Carl Froch in Nottingham, he has one of the best crowds in the world behind him, no question. But or the Haymaker when we've done the shows in Manchester together. You know, great shows, great atmospheres. But honestly, the noise that was going to come through here on Saturday night is incomparable to anything else I've experienced. You know, and that includes promotions in East Germany where there's very tough crowds, very loud crowds. Richie Woodall, Marcus Beyer, many years ago, 1999, in Telford, you know, was a really rough, brummy crowd, and it was good fun, and you know, and there was a small German contingent over there that they didn't enjoy their stay, I can assure you, apart from when Marcus won. But you know, the atmosphere really here is cooking, and you know, Saturday night will be very special. Now, to the negotiations, to a little bit to the background, and the reason why I said that, I have a little quote here. I know, Pat, you don't speak Danish, but I'll help you with a little translation of a quote, which I personally, now, Pat and our family have been doing business for actually a long time. My father told me, going back to Vitaly Tsipko days. So they know each other very well. And, you know, I don't believe that Pat is really behind these sort of quotes. But when I read something like, who do you think is the most hungry? The guy who finally reached the top after 14 years, or the guy who lived the sweet life in Monaco off Morgan's Palace money? That's when I start to blow up. Then I know that in the background, our dear old friend Morgan's is back. And he might not be sitting up here today. He was invited. I hear he's coming on Saturday. Unfortunately, I think that, you know, Morgan's has a way with people, and he's instrumentalizing the Magee camp in whichever way it is. But let me tell you a few facts. Mikkel Kessler was world champion for 5 years under Morgan's Palace. 5 years. And in that time, he had 9 world championship fights. Sven Ottker was world champion for us for 5.5 years, but was world champion 22 times. 22 times. Now, I'm not saying Sven was also an exception to the rule. He boxed very frequently, and some fights weren't the toughest fights, and Mikkel's been in a lot of wars, but no one can tell me that Morgan's Palace did the good that he did more worse or more harm to Mikkel. If I look at the fight, you know, you'll throw at me, oh well, he brought in the Calzaghe fight. Well, I'm pretty sure that Morgan's made more money than Mikkel that night. You know, so let's get facts straight here. Saturday night, there's a lot of background, and I'm not going to go too much into politics. I think I've done enough in the last few comments. But for me, it's a little bit of getting our own back at Morgan's on Saturday as well. And I was a little bit, you know, disappointed from those comments from Pat. But I mean, it's not Pat. I know it's Morgan's talking in the background, and I'm just surprised that Morgan's isn't here today. So, you know, I look forward to seeing him on Saturday. I'll have a big can of bratwurst to give him, you know, because he loves to call me the German sausage. So, you know, Saturday, Morgan's, we look forward to see you, and maybe you come to the post-fight presser.
Well, could I just respond to that? Obviously, you know, Morgan's is a good friend of ours, has been for a number of years. But I would just like to go back to our association, Brian's association with Sauerland. And that goes back to 2005, when we went to Nuremberg and boxed Vitaly Tsipko. And Brian was absolutely robbed. Everybody agreed. The German crowd booed the decision. I mean, Tsipko had to be helped out of the arena. He was in bad shape. Now, Brian said to me at that time, he said, Pat, if I ever fight for Sauerland again, I will not leave it to the decision. He's fought for them twice since. Well, 2 of their fighters. And what has he done? He's knocked each of them out. And that's his plan on Saturday night. Now, I'm maybe not so much worried here as I was in Nuremberg about the decision making, because at least this time we have negotiated a foreign referee, 3 foreign judges, and a British supervisor. So I think we're well covered. I think we've covered all the angles. And as I said earlier, there will be no excuse from Brian Magee if he doesn't win on Saturday night, no matter what way he wins. But I think the way that Mikkel Kessler fights, the way that Brian fights now, and Brian's a different fighter since Bernardo Checa came along. If I was to describe the difference in Brian's style, Brian is now rough and tough. That's the difference. And you'll see that difference on Saturday night.
Well, I've got to give you full credit for completely deflecting my comments away there, Pat. That was a very good attempt at deflecting my comments. But my question remains: where did the Morgan's Pala quote from Monaco come out of your mouth? I mean, those are Morgan's words. Those are not Pat McGee's words. Those are not Pat McGee's words.
No, as I said earlier, I don't read Danish. I don't speak Danish.
I'm learning a
but
little.
I think I think the reporters here. I think that there was mention made. I made mention of the fact that perhaps Mikkel was living a better life since he fought Calzaghe, and I mentioned Mogan's, but I certainly didn't make the comment that you're making now.
Okay, so there was no comment from about Monaco. No?
Is it a literal?
I think was the interview in Danish or was it in English?
Is it a literal translation? I don't know.
Okay, but I give you full credit for deflecting the comments.
Okay,
I mean, that was going back to Tipco days. That's I can't remember the fight myself, so I'll have to go and look at a tape of it later to tell you.
Okay. Well, Chris was there.
Well, look, let me interfere here a little bit. First of all, hello, good morning to everybody. Pat, now you say you didn't give the interview because you do not speak Danish. Hopefully Brian will not say he wasn't in the ring because he lost. I mean, the comment with Monaco is so much Morgan's that I now decided to present you with a gift today that I got yesterday in Germany that I wanted to give to Morgan's, my old friend.
Official Team Sauerland present.
So that you have a better feeling for the German mentality. You get some bratwurst, and you get some bratwurst personally from me, so that you can enjoy some German.
Yeah, well, maybe
culture.
Okay, well, maybe I will pass it on to Morgan when he sits at ringside at the weekend.
He will enjoy it because it's for free.
Okay, thank you.
Well, maybe we go back to the sporting focus now. Let's hear from the Viking Warrior, Mikkel. Do you think the judges will be needed on Saturday night?
Will be what?
The judges, will they be needed? Will it go to the scorecards or will it end before that?
You know, I'm not like Pat say that McGee's gonna knock me out. I see the fight as going 12 rounds. I've been training for 12 rounds, and so of course I would take the chance before if I have it. I always do, but I will never say I'll just go in and knock him out before in time. So I've been training for 12 rounds. I'm in the best shape ever for the 12 rounds. I did a lot of good sparring, and so I don't want to worry about the judges. I never had what can you say, a wrong decision. If I lose a fight and the judges think I won it, then I would say after the fight, well, I think I lose, you are the man, and that's how I always did. And so, but I don't want to think about losing. I don't want to think about the judges. I think about the fight, and I'm ready for it.
Thanks, Mikkel. And Brian, of course, can we also hear your opinion, all the judges and preparation stuff, or is it something you just completely black out and don't focus on?
No, it's just exactly as Mikkel says. It's exactly the same. You know, it's what will be will be. If the judges see the fight that way, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, but you know, you just hope that you win, and things go to plan. But you know, it's something that I don't have to worry about. You know, I have to worry about just getting in the ring and just trying to do my best and putting on a good fight.
And with that, I think we come to your questions, please. We have a microphone. Please wait for the mic.
Yes, if you start introducing your name and your media.
My name is Tommy from Horsens. Mikkel, you were undefeated on Danish soil since you were an amateur. You haven't lost in Denmark this last 16 years. How much does it mean for you to fight at home if you compare it to fighting abroad?
Of course, I like to fight home. I have a good crowd and always happy to find my homeland. But the first time I defended my title, I went all the way to Australia. So if it was in Ireland, I would have gone there too. So I'm not afraid of that. But of course I'm confident, but I'm confident of myself, and I don't care where I fight. So I'll be ready.
Can I ask you, Brian, how much does it mean to go abroad to have a fight?
It's like something I've just been used to from the start of my career. I've always had to travel to fight, so it's no different. I've kind of just grown accustomed to it and expected every time a fight's arranged. I always kind of take it for granted I'm the one who has to travel. So it's no different than any time before, really. But it's, you know, it's nice to come somewhere like Denmark where, you know, you get treated so well. Fight fans are great, you know, and you know, it's a pleasure to come here and come back again.
Further questions? No further questions, and let me point out that there are two ways of watching this fight. Either you buy a ticket on www.billetnet.dk, or you purchase the pay-per-view by calling 70 11 20 60, or go to boxerkampen.dk. And maybe we can just hear from Kalle what kind of crowd we are expecting on Saturday night.
Well, I said already, you know, it's set up for 11,000, and we're around 9,000 now, so I expect the 11,000 to be there on Saturday. It will feel like 50,000, but 11,000.
All right, and I think, yep, question. Just wait for the microphone, please.
I have a question for Kalle Sauerland. I know you've already said that the speculations about the potential world match is only speculations yet, but can you tell me a little bit about, is there anything new regarding this potential match? Because there's been some rumors about it's not going to happen because of the economy and such things.
Well, I thought I almost made it off the podium without a Ward or a Froch question. To be honest with you, what there, of course, I'm Mikkel's promoter. I'm looking out for the future, but A, I won't discuss that today, and B, you know, we've got a serious fight on Saturday which we need to win, you know, and let's get past Saturday first, and then we'll see. You know, I know there's been a lot of people from the UK who've you know, media, you know, questions, and you know, what about the Froch fight? And you know, from the States, you know, I have spoken to Dan Goosen, of course. You know, I keep in touch with the guys. I met with Eddie Hearn. You know, they're fights we'd love to do, but you know, at the moment we've got a very tough Irishman on Saturday night, who's world champion, and we're not. It's very simple, you know. You know, when Mikkel had to withdraw from the Super Six, we were at the bottom of the world, and you know, we said we want to be world champion again, and Saturday night is the time when we're going to do that. When we've done that, then we'll start thinking about it. I mean, also a lot of, you know, you know, there's a lot of options, of course, but you know, to be honest with you, I'm too nervous for Saturday right now.
Thank you.
I hope I say that right. The weather forecast, I haven't seen it, but there is snow this week. Is there any concern about fans coming from far away, or even the local fans, about getting here? And are you expecting more snow this week?
Gil or George,
Gil,
if
sorry.
it's better. No problem. You're thinking about the security?
No.
I
think the question comes from Sky Television. I think it's a question regarding UK fans coming over, if there's problems with the airports. Before you answer and you think about your answer, I'll say I've got people coming, a lot of people coming over from London, and we've had experiences in the past, and it's, you know, I've got to say, as half Englishman, it's a big difference when it snows here. It's not like snow in London, you know, where everything closes down. It's sort of business as usual, so I don't expect anything, but maybe you want to say some more to that.
Please ask me again. What did you say?
Just that we've had snow in the last few days here.
Yes.
Will that be a worry on Saturday? Is there more snow forecast? What with the roads and the airports?
Okay, now I'm understanding. We are living in an area where the weather is always a joker. So we are prepared here in the middle of Denmark. So we'll make all the things which has to be done, and the forecast looks good. As Kalle said, form on, there'll be very cold outside, but very warm inside. So, and the arena here is prepared for boxing also. So, outside or inside, we'll be ready also for the fans coming from abroad.
The only thing we're not prepared for is another eruption of the volcano in Iceland, which caused us a lot of problems last time.
The weather is a joker.
Yeah, that one we're not prepared for, but fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Any further questions? No, if not, then let's proceed with the pictures before we wrap up the live broadcast. And could I just ask Mikael and Brian for a face-to-face picture over here on the left side, and then later joining the coaches and promoters. Thank you. You go in there as well?
Okay.
And Bernardo, please. Jimmy? George? Real face to face. Can you do one face to face? Looking into the eyes, please. Okay, that's it. Right, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. We will now proceed with one-on-one interviews, please, and see each other at the weigh-in on Friday at Herning Center. And with that, we finish our broadcast from the internet. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.